The Young and the Restless spoilers next week. Spoilers May 12 to 16, 2025. In the midst of the relentless power struggles and emotional upheavals that define Genoa City, a new wave of turmoil is set to crash into the lives of some of its most prominent residents, threatening to upend relationships, loyalties, and long-held secrets. At the heart of this brewing storm are four intertwined storylines. The alarming illness of Cole Howard, the simmering tension between Mariah Copeland and Tessa Porter, and the combustible rivalry between Sally Spectra and Chelsea Lawson, each thread poised to entangle the other in a tapestry of heartbreak, betrayal, and unexpected alliances. As Victoria Newman navigates the terror of potentially losing the man she loves, and as Claire Grace Newman teeters on the brink of despair, the corridors of Newman Enterprises will echo with questions that demand answers. How will Cole face his diagnosis? Can Mariah maintain her secret without fracturing her marriage? And when the venomous feud between Sally and Chelsea ignites, will any power in Genoa City be strong enough to contain the fallout? Cole Howard's health crisis emerges as the first unsettling note in this overture of dread. Once defined by his quiet strength and unwavering support of those around him, Cole has lately been plagued by a persistent cough that he has stubbornly dismissed as nothing more than a lingering cold. Yet Victoria, whose instincts as both a mother and a CEO have been honed by years of battling corporate dragons alongside Victor Newman himself, insists he seek medical attention before his condition worsens. Under her gentle but unyielding persuasion, Cole finally acquiesces, journeying to the Sterling Medical Center for a battery of tests that leave him and Victoria waiting in agonizing limbo. With each passing day, the specter of a serious diagnosis grows more real. The laboratory results hint at an illness far graver than the common flu, and a hush falls over both the Newman mansion and the halls of Chancellor Winters as doctors confer in hushed tones. For Victoria, the prospect that her beloved husband might be stricken with a life-threatening disease is unbearable. She finds herself oscillating between hope and despair, rallying around Cole with unwavering devotion even as her heart clenches at every cough he emits. Meanwhile, young Claire Grace, a child whose innocence has already been tested by the storms of Newman family drama, senses the tension that stains her parents' once calm household. Her bright eyes, usually alight with curiosity, now cloud with worry as she clings to her mother's skirts, asking questions Victoria cannot fully answer. As the Newmans brace for the verdict, whispers swirl throughout Genoa City. Will Cole Howard's prognosis spell the end of a cherished future, or can modern medicine, and the fierce love of his family, defy the odds? While the Newmans grapple with the fragility of life, another marriage faces its own crucible, not of health but of trust. Mariah Copeland, whose warm spirit and fierce loyalty have endeared her to fans, carries a secret that threatens to tear her and Tessa Porter apart. Tessa, ever the empathetic soul with whom Mariah found kindred connection, has no inkling of the truth Mariah conceals, yet every stolen glance, every hesitated word, weighs heavily on Mariah's conscience. Though viewers remain in the dark about the nature of this secret, it is clear that Mariah's fear runs deep. She worries that, if the veil is lifted, Tessa will recoil from the woman she has come to love. Mariah's attempts to disguise her anxiety only exacerbate the odor of deception, for she is, by her own admission, ill-equipped to sustain a lie. In the glittering setting of crimson lights, under the soft glow of hanging lamps, Tessa picks up on the subtle tremor in Mariah's voice and the way her smile falters when certain topics arise. A seed of suspicion plants itself in Tessa's mind, and before long, it germinates into something she cannot ignore. Tessa Porter, whose compassion is matched only by her pursuit of truth, will not stand by while her wife withholds something that might alter their future. As Tessa steels herself for the confrontation to come, the question looms, will Mariah's secret sever the bond they have forged, or can love, and perhaps a measure of forgiveness, prevail against the storm of hidden truths? Amidst medical scares and marital suspense, the simmering feud between Sally Spectra and Chelsea Lawson threatens to blaze into open warfare, fueled by corporate machinations and family loyalties. Sally, whose fierce ambition at Spectra Fashions has often collided with Chelsea's own brand of tenacity, already harbors a deep-seated resentment toward the woman who once usurped her place in the industry. Their simmering hostility takes on new intensity when Chelsea learns that Abbott-Newman has quietly commissioned Newman Media to publish a scathing exposé of Billy Abbott, pitting brother against brother in a twist that only Genoa City could orchestrate. Outraged that Abbott-Newman, whose own loyalties are torn between his father and his fiancée, has become the instrument of Victor's will, Chelsea confronts him in a storm of outrage. Adams protests that he is merely following orders, ring hollow against Chelsea's sense of justice and devotion to her family's name. She insists he defy Victor, stand up for what is right, and warn Billy of the impending onslaught. But Adam, ever cautious and haunted by the fallout of past rebellions against his father, hesitates to unleash Victor's wrath. In the boardrooms and back hallways of Newman Enterprises, alliances shift like quicksand. Sally, seizing on Chelsea's fury, sees an opportunity to strike a blow against both Chelsea's personal life and her professional standing. She whispers rumors of Chelsea's closeness to Adam, insinuating that Chelsea's loyalty to her friends is everything Victor loathes, and everything that could destroy Chelsea's future. As tensions mount, Chelsea braces herself for the confrontation with Sally that preview clips promise will be nothing short of explosive. Will Chelsea's indignation be enough to rally Adam to her side? Can she preempt the article's publication and salvage Billy's reputation, and her own sanity, before Victor's plan comes fully to fruition? Taken together, these three narrative arcs paint a portrait of a city in crisis, where every relationship faces the threat of rupture and every secret could spark a conflagration. Cole Howard's potentially life-altering diagnosis forces the Newmans to confront their deepest fears, challenging Victoria's unshakable confidence in the face of uncertainty. Mariah and Tessa's relationship teeters on the edge of an abyss, driven by the natural implosion of unspoken truths and the pain of a love tested by secrecy. And the rivalry between Sally Spectra and Chelsea Lawson, once confined to fashion runways and boardroom tables, explodes into the personal realm, dragging Adam and Billy Abbott into the fray. As Genoa City holds its breath for the next chapter, viewers can expect heartbreak, confrontation, and perhaps even redemption as these characters grapple with their own choices and the consequences that follow. Whether the bonds of family and love will withstand these trials, or shatter irreparably under the strain, remains to be seen. One thing, however, is certain: nowhere else on daytime television will the stakes feel higher, the emotions run deeper, or the surprises hit harder than in the world of the young and the restless. In Genoa City, power is a currency more volatile than stock shares and more intoxicating than any designer cocktail. And nowhere is this truth more evident than in the mounting tension currently convulsing the Abbott-Newman axis. At the heart of this tempest stands Kyle Abbott, a man whose easygoing facade has been carefully cultivated to mask both the weight of familial expectation and the ever-present specter of his father's inscrutable will. Yet recent whispers through the marble corridors of Newman Enterprises hint that Victor's latest gambit, an underhanded maneuver designed to humiliate Kyle in front of key investors, will ignite a long-smoldering fuse. When Victor, ever the Grandmaster, orders a sudden pivot in company policy that places Kyle's division in jeopardy, Kyle's frustration will burst through his practiced calm like a dam finally giving way. The result, a very public confrontation in which Kyle, voice shaking with equal parts anger and desperation, demands to know why the man who taught him everything feels compelled to cut him down at every turn. This outburst, long overdue, will not only force Victor to reveal the full extent of his strategic cruelty but will also leave Kyle vulnerable in ways he never imagined: bruised ego, shattered confidence, and a family reputation on which so much of his identity depends suddenly cast into doubt. Seizing on Kyle's moment of weakness is the rising star Audra Charles, whose alliance with Victor has until now seemed more transactional than opportunistic. Audra has watched Kyle's suffering with the calculating patience of a chess grandmaster eyeing her opponent's faltering king, and when Claire Grace Newman retreats into a spiral of anxiety over her father Cole's health, spending every waking hour at his bedside, Kyle is left adrift, desperate for companionship and affirmation. Audra, whose own ambitions burn brighter than the neon lights of Spectre fashions, will extend a hand or perhaps more a velvet-gloved arm of opportunity. A lavish invitation to a private gala, assurances of a collaboration that could rescue Kyle's division, and, more subtly, an offer of solace in a world where his family seems determined to betray him. With Claire consumed by her parents' crisis, Kyle will find himself drawn to Audra's boldness, her unspoken promise that she values his strengths rather than revels in his defeats. In the shadows of Newman Enterprises' corporate theater, their alliance will blossom into something more complicated. Attraction laced with ambition, loyalty woven through with ulterior motives. But even as Audra positions herself as Kyle's new confidant, not everyone will be fooled. Nate Hastings, whose journalistic instincts have often guided him through Genoa City's murkiest intrigues, will begin to suspect that Audra's deal with Victor conceals a double edge. Rumors circulating through the press room of the Grand Phoenix newspaper will catch Nate's ear. Accounts suggesting that Audra has promised Victor more than she intends to deliver, that she may be setting him up for a public spectacle that will benefit her own rising media empire. Nate, whose loyalty to Lily Winters has deepened into a bond he refuses to break, will confide his concerns to her in hushed conversations over late-night coffees at Crimson Lights. He'll argue that Audra's charm is a weapon, that her generosity masks a shrewd mind capable of exploiting every misstep for her own gain. His warnings to Lily will be urgent. Don't let her play you like she's playing Kyle, he'll insist, eyes flashing with both concern and a protective fury. Lily Winters, for her part, has never been one to shrink from a fight, or from the allure of a daring business venture. Emboldened by recent successes, she will strike a deal so audacious that even those who know her best will gape in disbelief, a plan to partner with a nascent biotech startup to develop a streaming health and wellness platform under the Winters Media banner. On paper, the move promises to dethrone Newman Media in a lucrative niche. In practice, it risks stretching Lily's resources and her reputation to their breaking point. Yet Lily, her confidence ringed in steel, will brush aside Nate's cautions, convinced that her instincts, honed through years of battling corporate behemoths, will see her through. Her assent, however, will not go unchallenged. Audra, perceiving Lily's confidence as both a threat and a challenge, will begin to plant subtle doubts in Victor's ear, that Lily's hubris could topple not only her own empire but also destabilize the delicate balance of power Victor so carefully maintains. Simultaneously, Holden Novak, a man whose quiet loyalty to Audra has blossomed into something deeper, will be drawn into the fray, his own affections for Audra complicating his friendship with Lily and his sense of professional integrity. As these storylines collide, Genoa City will find itself engulfed in a maelstrom of secrets and shifting allegiances. Kyle Abbott, freshly wounded by his breakdown, will have to decide whether to accept Audra's hand and risk proving Nate right, or to confront Victor directly, exposing the ruthless games at play behind the Newman boardroom doors. Audra Charles, ever the architect of her own destiny, will chart a course that could see her hailed as a visionary or reviled as a traitor, depending on which of her promises she chooses to honor. Nate Hastings, caught between his journalistic duty and his love for Lily, will be forced to risk his career to unearth the truth, and to save those he cares about from collateral damage. And Lily Winters, soaring on the wings of her most startling deal yet, will discover whether her self-assurance is a fortress or a facade, whether she can remain humble in victory or be undone by the very ambition that has propelled her to greatness. In the weeks to come, Genoa City will watch with bated breath as these intertwined dramas unfold, a high-stakes dance in which ambition battles loyalty, love clashes with strategy, and every secret has the potential to become ammunition. From Cole Howard's hospital room to the glittering ballrooms of Spectre Fashions, from the hushed corners of Newman Enterprises boardrooms to the newsrooms where Nate Hastings pursues his scoop, the characters we thought we knew so well will reveal new depths, some noble, some ruthless, and all utterly unpredictable. And through it all, one unshakable truth will emerge. In a city where fortunes rise and fall with each whispered rumor, the greatest power of all lies not in the shares you hold or the alliances you forge, but in your capacity to survive, and perhaps even to thrive, when the world you built begins to crumble.